Jungkook never changed that morning. Incheon International Airport looked like usual, crowded, bustling, and filled with tired faces of travelers. But one corner was especially packed. The international arrivals gate was swarmed by dozens, even hundreds of BTS fans. Banners, lightsticks, and posters reading "Welcome back Jungkook" filled the area they already knew. Jungkook was returning from his overseas schedule today. But that wasn't the only thing that stirred up excitement. Rumors had spread that Lisa from Blackpink was also at the airport, scheduled to fly to Paris around the same time. In the midst of the crowd, suddenly a scream erupted, "It's Jungkook!" Everyone turned their heads. Behind the glass doors, Jungkook appeared, wearing a black hoodie, mask, and cap. But what left everyone momentarily speechless wasn't just his stylish appearance, it was what he did next. Jungkook waved his hand, not a quick, awkward wave like usual, but a warm, gentle gesture, as if greeting old friends. He even bowed respectfully toward the fans. Then he did something unexpected. He briefly removed his mask, smiled, and said in a soft but clear voice, "Thank you for coming. Be careful, don't push each other." Many fans fell silent. Some even teared up. Jungkook, so humble, so warm. He hadn't changed at all despite being a global superstar. Not long after, Lisa stepped out of her VIP vehicle not far from the crowd. Wearing oversized sunglasses and casual clothes, she was instantly recognized by fans. When Lisa saw that moment, Jungkook smiling warmly at fans, calming the crowd, her expression changed. She stopped walking, stood still. Her eyes welled up. Her manager noticed and whispered, "Are you okay, Lisa?" Lisa nodded slightly. Then she softly said, "He hasn't changed." "Who?" asked her manager. "Jungkook." She replied with a small smile. "He's always been like that. Behind the fame and big stages, he's always had a big heart." Without realizing it, Lisa began walking closer. Some fans reacted, but she raised her hand, signaling them to stay calm. Jungkook, who was still greeting fans, turned. His eyes locked onto Lisa. They stared at each other. Time seemed to slow. Jungkook smiled and said softly, "Lisa?" Lisa chuckled, "I thought you'd act all cool and distant at the airport like usual." Jungkook scratched his head. "Today, I just wanted them to know I see them. That they matter." Lisa nodded. "They must be so happy." Suddenly, a fan shrieked, "OMG! Jungkook and Lisa!" All cameras turned toward them. Lisa was startled, but Jungkook just laughed. He turned to Lisa and said, "Wanna run?" Lisa smiled back, "Let's run together first." They jogged toward the VIP gate as bodyguards chased after them. But that moment, their laughter, genuine expressions, and the warmth they radiated, was already captured by hundreds of cameras and thousands of hearts. On social media, the moment instantly went viral with hashtags, #Jungkook stays humble, #Lisa is touched, #Golden Magne with golden heart. This story may be fictional, but it shows that sometimes, the most touching things aren't grand concerts or big awards, but small, heartfelt gestures. Red heart. Later in the VIP lounge, after they jogged into the VIP lounge, things calmed down. Their staff gave them space. Just the two of them remained. Lisa sat on the sofa, gazing out the window, Jungkook across from her, sipping bottled water. Lisa still looked emotional. She stared at the ceiling before quietly speaking, "I thought, you would have changed." Jungkook turned, confused. "Changed how?" Lisa smiled softly, but her eyes were serious. "After everything you've achieved. Sold-out stadiums, world tours, millions of fans, chart-topping songs. But today, you were still the same Jungkook. The one who used to sneak ramen into the trainee cafeteria and always said thank you to staff just for handing him a bottle of water." Jungkook chuckled, "You still remember that?" "Of course," Lisa replied, hugging her knees on the sofa. "You were the most diligent trainee but also the most restless. During practice, everyone was focused, but you'd sneak over and whisper 'fighting, Lisa,' in that tiny voice." Jungkook smiled, slightly embarrassed, "I didn't think you remembered." Lisa looked at him for a long moment. "You're wrong. I remember everything. Including when we sat on the studio floor at 2 a.m., exhausted, and you said, 'One day we'll be on big stages, but don't forget to be a good person.'" Jungkook fell silent. That line echoed in his mind, though he wasn't even sure he had said it, just something from the heart. I can't believe you remembered something so small, Jungkook whispered. Lisa nodded. And today, when I saw you greet fans so sincerely, even removing your mask though you must have been tired, I instantly remembered those days. You haven't changed, Jungkook. Jungkook sighed deeply. Sometimes, it's the little things that matter most. They looked at each other. No words needed, just a silent understanding between two old friends who once sat side by side in a cramped training room, not knowing the future that awaited them. Lisa smiled and stood up. Don't ever change, okay? Jungkook stood too. If I do, remind me. Lisa pointed at herself playfully. I'll remind you with that video of you singing off-key in the corner during dance practice. Hey! Jungkook burst out laughing. You still have that video? Who knows? Maybe I'll blackmail you with it one day, Lisa joked as she walked away. As the VIP lounge doors opened and they stepped out together, cameras flashed again. But this time, they simply smiled, waved, and walked calmly. A few days later, at a private studio in Hanam-dong, the lights glowed from inside. Not just any studio, this was Jungkook's personal practice space. Usually only he and his team entered. But today, there was a special guest. Lisa stood in the middle of the room, dressed in all black training clothes, hair tied back simply. In her hand, a water bottle and a small towel. Wow, it still smells like our old studio, Lisa said, chuckling. Jungkook, fiddling with the music player in the corner, turned to her. Smells like sweat and hard work, huh? More like, your back that always overworked every move, Lisa quipped. Jungkook laughed heartily. Savage. They started warming up together. No cameras. No staff. Just two major idols going back to basics, training, sweating, and laughing. After stretching, music began playing. A mellow R&B instrumental. Lisa paused. This isn't a released song, right? Jungkook nodded. Not yet. I wrote it secretly. It's about our early debut days. About a friend who was always there, even if the world never knew. Lisa fell silent. She understood, without needing further explanation. I haven't written all the lyrics yet. But if you want to help, Jungkook looked her way. Lisa smiled. Let's write it together. They sat in a corner, Jungkook with a notebook, Lisa with an iPad. Slowly, they wrote line by line. Jungkook, when the world didn't know who we were, your voice was louder than my doubts. Now the lights shine everywhere, but I still hear your old whispers. Lisa continued, we didn't grow just to be stars but to remember each other through the cheers, even if the stage gets higher. I know, we once started on the same floor. They exchanged smiles. Time passed quickly. The clock read 11 p.m. The studio was quiet again. Lisa leaned against the mirror, watching their reflections. We should do this more often, she said. Jungkook nodded. Not for comebacks, not for going viral. Just to remind ourselves who we really are. Lisa walked to the door. But before leaving, she softly said, if we ever perform again, let it be not as stars, but as two people who never forgot where we came from. Jungkook stood tall and replied with quiet certainty, that's a promise. Final scene. Months later, a surprise concert was held on a small stage in Seoul. No announcements. No sponsors. In the dim lights, only two silhouettes stood, Jungkook and Lisa. They sang a song titled, The Unseen Friend. It didn't top the charts, but for those who were there, it was the most honest night they had ever witnessed.